And, we're tired. It's 3:00. Nobody's getting anything done. And he said, I pay you to sit there.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, it's 3:00. I'm waiting for Friday at 5. I am 25 years old. I'm going to be doing this for the next 40 years. I cannot do it. I don't like all the stuff about the firm. I just did not like the whole profession. I liked the work, but I didn't like how accounting firms were run. So I came in Monday morning and I quit.
You're listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with your host, Michael Palmer. Listen each week as inspiring guests share their secrets of success to help you increase your confidence, work smarter, and build a business you love. This episode of The Successful Bookkeeper is brought to you by PureBookkeeping.com, the proven system to grow your bookkeeping business.
Well, welcome back to the Successful Bookkeeper Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Palmer, and today's show is going to be a fun one. Our guest is the owner of Behind the Scenes Financial Services, Debra Kilsheimer. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks. I'm excited to be here.
Beautiful. Well, it's great to have you. Now, I'd love to get our listener up to speed on you. So Tell us a little bit about you. How did you end up doing what you're doing today?
Well, I think I grew up in an accounting family. My dad was a business manager of a school district in Pennsylvania, and he was not into sports, but he was into accounting. Okay. And instead of playing ball with me, he would bring me into the basement. Now, in Pennsylvania, we have basements or cellars. Okay. And he would bring me into the basement and he would show me how to do a tax return. Come on, Debbie, I'm going to show you how to do a tax return. And I remember just standing there as a little kid, okay, Dad, is this adjusted gross income? So I mean, I've done it like forever. Wow. And then never thought I'd be an accountant because my mom told me that girls are not good at math. Wow. So, and and you believe your mother, don't you?
Yes, well, most of the time,
she must be right. So yes. I went to school and I was at a college and I had a roommate who was majoring in accounting and I needed a class. So I said, well, how hard is this accounting stuff? I mean, because I always kept my checkbook. I mean, I always did that. And she goes, oh, it's fun. I'll help you. So I took my first accounting class and I thought, I really like this. I mean, debits equal credits. It always balanced. I mean, it just, I just really liked it. And in fact, I always tell people now what I do is when I was in college, I made money by ironing shirts. Professors had wrinkled shirts and everything. So they would pay me 50 cents a shirt. So I like taking messes and making them neat. And that's exactly what I did as accounting. So I like to use that example. I iron shirts. Wow. So I went to college and, then I went in, anyway, that was up in Pennsylvania. And I thought, I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I thought it's cold up here. So I bought a car, didn't tell my mom and dad, I bought a car. And then I said to them, I'm moving to Florida. And they go, what? Wow. Who do you know in Florida? I go, nobody. But I was 21, 21, we can do anything. So I left in March of 1978. And I left in March because I knew if I left in April, I would never go because that's when the Phillies start to play. And I'm a big Phillies fan. So I thought, I won't go if the Phillies are playing. I'm going to go in March. Yeah. So I left in March and I stopped in Orlando and I took a room at this young women's community center and was driving around thinking, what am I going to do with my life? And saw it was then FTU, Florida Technical University, which has since changed the name to UCF. And I walked into the administration office and I said, what's the major that will get me a job? And they said, well, accounting's good. And I went, oh, I like that class I took back there in the other college. I'll do that. So I signed up for accounting and just loved it. So I got my degree, passed my CPA. Now I'm working at a CPA firm. And I hated it. I thought, I hate this job. First off, they're having to track my time in 6-minute increments. I thought was dumb. And because the better I got, the less money the firm would make, but the more work that I would have to do. Right. So Tony, this guy Tony was in my office. They loved him because he was stupid. It took him forever to do a tax return.
They made a lot of money off Tony.
And I thought, and so I had my review. And he goes, Tony has a higher billing rate per customer than you have. I go, yeah, because Tony takes 4 times as long. Why don't you have a flat? I was 25 years old. I said, why don't we do flat rate? Because then I won't have to track my time. The customer knows what it's going to cost. You're not going to have to review it and write it down to what you think it should have done, because everybody lies on a timesheet. So it's a big fat waste of time anyway. So I don't understand this. And he goes, well, that's just how it's always been done. I go, well, maybe we should change it. Well, he thought I'd grown 2 heads.
Wow.
And then when I did audits, I went out and did audits when it wasn't tax time. And, we would go in and I would always be friendly with the staff, the workers, because I thought they know where the bodies are buried.
That's right.
So, and I would always go up to them and say, I need to have a bill from 12/31, this bill. I know you're busy. When you get a moment. And they'd always help me because I was nice. So I had, my boss pulls me aside and he goes, Debbie, you're too friendly. What? I'm too friendly. I learn stuff, but why can't we be nice? So I just thought I can't be nice. I have to track my time.
You're too nice.
And I'm looking behind me. I'm looking at history. I cannot change a thing. Now, my dad, being a business manager of a school district, he didn't make a lot of money. And my mom was a homemaker. She was a great mom. I lived in a Beaver Cleaver household. Beautiful. But we all went to summer camp. We went to church camp. We rented a house at the beach every summer. I had new school clothes at the beginning of the year. We had dinner on the table. My dad was active in we had and no debt. I was the oldest of 4, and we all went to college, except my brother Donald. He went into the Army. And thank you for your service, Donald.
Yes, thank you, Donald.
But he did it on a teacher's salary because he had the bucket of money he was given and he knew how to budget.
Wow.
That to me was what accounting was. And I didn't see it working in the CPA firm. So it was April 16th and it was 3:00 in the afternoon and everybody's exhausted. Nobody's working. We're just numb. And I looked out the window and I see cars driving on this big road in Altamont Springs where I worked, 436. And I thought, don't those people have jobs? So I said to the boss, could we go home? We've been working 60, 80 hours a week. And, we're tired. It's 3:00. Nobody's getting anything done. And he said, I pay you to sit there.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, it's 3:00. I'm waiting for Friday at 5. I am 25 years old. I'm going to be doing this for the next 40 years. I cannot do it. I don't like all the stuff about the firm. I just did not like the whole profession. I liked the work, but I didn't like how accounting firms were run. So I came in Monday morning and I quit.
Nice.
I quit. Yeah. I thought I had to do something else. Well, I went and found another job. I actually sold Mary Kay Cosmetics for 10 years. I had the pink Cadillac, the whole thing.
Wow.
That firm taught me how to treat people and how to run a successful business. And then I got a job at a law firm teaching computers to attorneys. And I loved that job. That was fun.
We'll get back to the interview right after this word from our sponsor.
Fellow bookkeepers, listen up. If you haven't heard, you're invited to Bill's Bookkeeper Appreciation Week. The team at Bill knows bookkeepers keep businesses running and wants to give them the recognition they deserve. Trust me, you want to check this out. Bill is the all-in-one platform for creating and paying bills, sending invoices, managing expenses, and controlling budgets. And it's designed to help bookkeepers succeed and grow, whether you have your own bookkeeping firm or you're a bookkeeper at an accounting firm. And the week of April 14th, Bill's Bookkeeper Appreciation Week will feature 5 days of essential online resources delivered directly to your inbox, plus live webinars, giveaways, and more. Throughout the week, Bill will cover hot topics like technology, pricing, growth, and the future of bookkeeping. Registration is free, and you could even win a $500 gift card just for attending a webinar. So don't wait. Be a part of the celebration with Bill's Bookkeeper Appreciation Week. Register today for free at bill.com/successful bookkeeper, and let your fellow bookkeepers know about this too. That's bill.com/successful bookkeeper.
Thank you for hearing from our sponsor. Now let's get back to the interview.
So fast forward, I'm doing that job, and then 9/11 hit. And they did away with my department. All of a sudden, I walked in one day and had no job. They said, well, we're letting you all go because you can't travel anymore, so we don't need you. What? I don't have a job? What? Well, a month prior to that, I started dating my now husband, Hal, and he had a tax and accounting firm. And I remember meeting him the first time. I said, well, what do you do? Oh, I have my own tax and accounting firm. Oh, I thought, he's probably really dull. You know, tracks his time, does all this. Oh, well, I said I would meet everybody. You never know. They look good on paper, so maybe he looked bad on paper and he was great in person. And that's what happened. And so a month into our relationship, I had lost my job. And he said, look, you're a CPA. Why don't you work with me? And I said, all right, but only if I can run an accounting firm like I think it should be run, where no hourly billing. We're going to be a progressive firm, meaning we're going to take the numbers they give us and learn how to make a difference in their life, not look behind us and say, well, you classified the receipt wrong. It should have been repair and maintenance and you put it to office supply. Who cares? It's still an expense. Not that I don't like things perfect. But do you see my point?
Absolutely.
And I will never forget another time that I needed some extra money and I took a job at a part-time at a CPA firm during tax season. And I walked in and I said, well, where are your computers? Oh, we don't have computers. You don't have computers? How come we don't have computers? And he said, because we couldn't charge as much then because we could do the stuff faster. And again, I thought, oh my gosh. I mean, I
hard to imagine
I brought my own computer in to do the work. And so I thought I would have all the advanced technology there is, no hourly billing, flat rate, and be a progressive, meaning, we look forward with the numbers, not behind us all the time.
Yes.
So he goes, great. I like tax. You do everything else. I'll do the tax. I go, great. So that's how we did it. It's been almost now 20 years. Wow. And so I started, and he was using, of course, he's a typical accountant, hates spending money. So I said to him, look, I need this QuickBooks product. I need this QuickBooks thing. Why? Can't you do it on Excel? No, I want QuickBooks. And I remember it was my birthday. And he said to me, well, what do you want for your birthday? Now, if you ever see me and meet me in person, I'm not fancy. And he wanted a fancy girl. Well, with their makeup done all the time and their nails done and jewelry. That is not me. So I said to him, well, if I wanted a $1,000 piece of jewelry, would you buy it for me? Oh, yes, I would. Absolutely. When do you want to go shopping? I said to him, well, it's your lucky day. I want to be a QuickBooks Pro Advisor. And that's only $500. He goes, you want that for your birthday? Yes, that's what I want for my birthday. I want to be a QuickBooks Pro Advisor. He goes, that's nuts. I said, tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. If it doesn't pay for itself, we will not renew it. He goes, okay, I can live with that. That year, which I think it was our second year together, my income, the income I generated was in the six figures.
Wow.
So I said, well, do I renew it again? Yes. So since then, he's been smart enough to let me run my part of the practice how I wanted to run it. I remember we did win Firm of the Future when it went into it the first time they had it. And they said, you have to submit a video, blah, blah, blah. He goes, Debbie, you'll never win that. We're just a 2-man operation here. I said, you know what? I might not win it, but if I don't submit, I'll never win it. So I'm just going to submit. Sure enough, we got they picked 20 firms and we were one of them. I said, see, you got to play. You buy a lottery ticket, you buy a lottery ticket every day. So I'm going to do this. And we won. I was very thrilled about that. So I just love what I do because I just think, we help clients make a difference in their life. I like teaching this to other bookkeepers and accountants because I do think we matter. I just love it. And we've been doing it now. I'm 68 and a half years old, if you can believe it. I don't believe it. And we've been doing this for 20 years. And I think more than 20, actually. How long ago was not? I don't know. I can't do the math without Excel. Like my mom said, I'm not good at math, but she didn't know I could learn Excel. And it's been a great ride. We just love it. I mean, we thought about last year retiring. And he said, well, what would we do instead? I go, I don't know, because there's nothing else I like. We keep going. And in fact, I'm doing a tax return right now. And he said to me the other day, he goes, I just really like doing this. I go, me too. So we just keep plugging along here. And
it's one of those businesses you can do forever. You can do forever. So that's interesting. And how he's still loving his side of the
he likes the tax. And he's still, it's funny, is in our firm, I'm the progressive one. Oh, new app, let's try it. I'm going to try this. Have you heard? He's the Luddite.
Okay.
Meaning, you have that bell curve of the early adopters, and then you have the ones at the end. We are at opposite ends of running the firm. So I say, we're going to do this. So he gives me free rein. So then I remember when EFTPS came out, where you can make your payroll tax deposits. This was, I forget, 10 plus years ago. And remember the yellow coupon books they used to have? And every client, we had a yellow coupon book. And, I heard about this EFTPS thing. I go, oh my gosh, you mean I could just go on and make the deposit? I mean, I still have to figure it out. That didn't change. But I wouldn't have to find the yellow book, fill it out, call the client, make sure they came over with them running to the bank before the 15th to make sure the deposit was made timely. So he goes, I said, I'm signing everybody up for this EFTPS. He goes, oh, they're not going to want to do it. They're not going to want to do it. I go, all right, let's ask them. And of course, there's ways to ask to get what you want. I learned that because I have 2 kids.
Yes.
So we're at a client going through this, and they go, oh, well, that sounds like a great idea, because you don't have to come over, we don't have to coordinate, you can be on vacation, it will be done, blah, 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 blah. And he says, well, the IRS will know where you bank. And I looked at him and kicked him under the table. I said, they know that anyway.
Yeah.
So that particular client did not sign up for EFTPS. Well, then a couple years later, he's the only one. He goes away. He's gone on vacation. This is before you had to do it. And he called me. He called Hal. And Hal says, well, let me have you talk to Debbie about how we're going to coordinate this. So I get on the phone with him and I say, well, Tom, if we did it this way, you could go on vacation when everyone. He goes, is that what you were talking about, so many years ago? Yes. Oh, well, we should have done it back then. Yes. So Hal is very old fashioned, but he has come along and he has realized that I do know what I'm talking about. And, but I still have to kind of baby him a little bit. And, a lot of people say, well, I would make him. Look, it's not the hill I'm willing to die on. So, when he has to have a tax return sent to a client or, something needs to be scanned, I'm the one that scans it and makes sure it's password protected in the secure portal. He goes, I said, well, couldn't you should, if you learned how to do this, it would be easy. I'm not learning. I'm too old to learn. He said that now for 20 plus years.
Wow.
But I thought, oh, well, makes me feel like makes me feel important to be able to help him out. But when it comes to tax, he's brilliant. So I kind of give him that, because when it comes to managing money and coming up with tax plans and how people can maximize their wealth, where to put money and do this, all this stuff legally. He
That's
will
his
do it. In
passion.
fact, a lot of people, I like to do Pilates, and he knows what the interest rates being so high recently. He knows, okay, this bank has this bank has that. And of course, I'm talking to all my friends at the Pilates class, and they go, well, where's he go? I said, give him a call. He'll tell you. So he has a list. Okay, this new Pi Bank, they're paying 4.7%. This is, so he has like a network of people he lets know that this bank is now paying this, so they'll all
It makes a massive difference. Makes a massive
CDs and
difference.
stuff like that. So they make extra money and income, and and he'll say, no, now you'll pay tax on the revenue, but if you make $1 and you pay a quarter in tax, you still have 75 cents. So don't complain to me about the tax, so, but he is brilliant when it comes to the tax. So, and we work very well together, and it's a lot of fun, so I wouldn't have it any other way.
Beautiful. So now I love that piece around asking people questions. It's like if you want to direct them to the answer you want, the thinking is really be prepared. And obviously, if you state the obvious, then it's not necessarily going to have them make the choice that's in favor of what you're trying to do.
Right.
And I think that's critical of any kind of client interactions. Have you found over your span of your business, you've actually been very progressive with the way you price, the way you bill your firm, and as well the thinking around positioning things and how you get clients to do what's going to be better for them ultimately?
Well, what I do is, I think the first thing any bookkeeper or business owner, and as a bookkeeper that owns their own business, you are a business owner. So I would say, if you started a dress shop, you would have to decide who your customer is. Are you going to sell high-end dresses? Are you going to sell casual wear? Or a restaurant? Are you going to be a steakhouse? Are you going to sell sushi? So as a bookkeeper, you need to define who is your customer. So define your customer first. I only want to work with people that understand that accounting is important to their business. If they come to me and of course, they all call up when their books are a mess. I get that.
Yeah.
So I say, well, the first question I always ask them is, why did you pick up the phone to call me today? Because they could have called yesterday. They could have waited a month. What made them pick up the phone to call today? Because I do think it takes great courage of a business owner to admit they don't know something or that they need help. So I always thank you for calling me today. How can I help you? And they say, oh, my books are a mess. I said, well, why did you call me today? And they'll tell you, well, because the IRS is at my door with a gun, or,
That's
I need a
question.
loan, or I need this, or I just can't do this anymore, or whatever. I said, well, I'm here to help.
Yeah.
So at least now I know why. And so the next question they usually ask is, well, how much do you charge? And this is my answer. I said, well, is price your only parameter in picking a great accountant? Because I'm not the cheapest around, but I am the best. So if you're looking for the lowest price, thank you for calling. We'll be friends, but it's not me.
Lovely.
No, it's not price. I just want the books done right. Great. Let's continue to talk. Because I think a lot of times, they don't, first off, clients really don't know what something like this costs. They're thinking, $15 an hour, unfortunately, and I always like to think in paradoxes where, you see ads on the TV all the time. Lose weight. It's easy. Start your own bookkeeping firm. It's easy. It's not easy. It's hard. Losing weight is hard. It's an easy exercise program. No, it's not. It's hard. So I should think, this is hard. Not that you can't do it, but if you flip it around. So I thought, running a business is hard. I'm here to help you. I'm going to do the hard stuff. You're going to do the visionary stuff. You're going to come up with the ideas. I'm going to come up with the stuff that no one likes doing because you know what? I love it. So we're going to work together to make your dream come true. What is that dream? Why did you start? So I start talking to them about their business, why they began, they're buying you. They're not buying a bank rec or a this or that, they're buying you. And how do you make them feel? And if you make them feel confident and good in the choices that they're doing, they will hire you. And then you come up with your price. You have your this is my ideal customer. They have to understand they're not looking for the lowball stuff. And so a lot of times they'll say to me, I said, well, I don't want to pay any income tax. I said, then why are you working? I mean, best way to not pay income tax, don't work. Mm-hmm. My goal at the end of the year is when I prepare your books to give to Hal to do your taxes, he's going to say, oh my gosh, do they know what their tax bill's going to be? Yes, because we've talked all year long to see that you're making money. So if your only goal is to not pay any income tax, we can stop right here because I'm going to tell you to quit working. Mm-hmm. We're not going to cheat. We're not going to lie. I want you to have a big fat tax bill. Because that means you've made money. Now, there are two ways. There's a second way that I can show you how you do not have to pay any tax. Well, how's that way work? Okay, in December 30th to 31st, we're going to run a profit and loss to see exactly what your profit is. And then I'm going to create an invoice to my firm for exactly that amount of money. And then you're going to pay that invoice, so your taxable income is zero. Because, what? Exactly. So you can take all the money and spend it for me, because I'm happy to take the revenue and pay the tax on it, or you can pay the tax. So which would you prefer? Quit your job, write me a check for the profit that you made during the year, or pay the tax? Which do you want? Well, I guess I'll pay the tax. Great. Now, we're going to make sure we're tax planning and we're going to watch cash flow to make sure you have enough in the bank to be able to pay the tax.
Beautiful.
Oh, okay. So anyway, so we start working like that. They don't really care what you charge at that point. But I want somebody that I like. They have to like me and I have to like them. So if it's somebody that I don't like, you're out. And you get feelings of people. So I meet that in the discovery call where the first phone call is where they find out if that's somebody I even want to work with. Because I'll say, we're a QBO shop. And so I just had a client this week on Monday, I went and met them and they're on desktop. Now I've used desktop since it started, but now we've moved to QuickBooks Online. And I said, well, we're going to move you to QuickBooks Online. I didn't give them a choice. I didn't say, well, would you like to move to QuickBooks Online? I really think it would be better if you moved. No, we use QuickBooks Online. If you want us, that's the product you will use. Now, okay. They didn't balk at all. I mean, because why they called was because they weren't getting stuff done. It was behind and, so we moved to QuickBooks Online. And I learned that lesson when I got a call from a CPA in town who was working with a bookkeeper who happened to be in hospice. And she had 6 clients that needed someone today to go in and help them. So I met with this guy's name was Dave. He's still my friend. And I went in and met him. And in fact, it was funny because Hal knew this guy because Hal was the CFO of the YMCA part-time and Dave was the auditor. So when Hal decided to just step away from the Y, he said to Dave, if there's anybody, if you ever need help, let me know. So Hal and I had been dating maybe not quite a year. And Dave called in July. And so he said, you said something about this and these clients need help. And Hal goes, well, I don't really do bookkeeping. And I said, but I do. Mm-hmm. So I went and never met Dave, sat down and I said, well, what did they do? What did they, one was a homeowners association, one was a union hall, there was a veterinarian, an HOA, a specialty wine and cheese shop. I forget the other ones, a Chinese restaurant, anyway. So he goes, well, they use Peachtree. Peachtree. I had used Peachtree. I said, well, we're a QBO shop. He goes, I said, well, I'll go talk to him. So I went and talked to every one of them. And I said, well, we use QuickBooks. And every one of them said, we don't care what you use. We just need the work done. That taught me. It was my choice what to use. So if a client comes and says to me, well, we use Xero. I said, well, we're QuickBooks. So if you want to change your GL, you'd have to switch. Otherwise, I can't help you out. Just like if I was a high-end steakhouse and somebody walked in and said, I want sushi. I'm not going to go out and buy fish. I said, well, we're a high-end steakhouse. I mean, this is what we serve. So that was the same thing. I chose QuickBooks, and then I moved to QuickBooks Online and told people we're moving to that. So they trust me as their pro. So we, with the QuickBooks Online, we do that. So I tell them what we're going to use. I tell them how it's going to be. They asked me on Monday, he goes, well, how do you bill? I said, well, we do ACH first of the month, automatic. I said, I can keep my prices lower because I don't have to chase receivables.
Lovely. I love that.
And they go,
line.
oh, they don't know. You don't have to, they don't know. You tell them it's low and you tell them what it is. They think that's lower.
That's right.
So I learned phrases to say, oh, okay. So he goes, oh, that's great. ACH at the beginning of the month. I said, we use all the technology available, because my goal is to help you run this business profitably, and we work very well together. We will become good friends. Now, they all have my personal cell phone number. People think I'm nuts for that. Well, let me tell you, I'm in charge of my cell phone. So if I'm having dinner with Hal and a client calls, I don't have to answer it. I can, and I think a lot of us like to play the hero. Oh, look how hard I worked because I worked at 8 o'clock at night. I have a friend, she does it. I'm still at the office. I go, that's on you, man. I leave. So, I'm into my time is my most valuable and precious resource. So I treasure it. So I want clients to call me to fix problems. But, there's never an accounting emergency, ever.
That's
ever.
Right.
So if they need help, they can certainly text, they can call. In fact, as I was sitting here doing this, 3 calls came in. I didn't say, oh, let me answer the phone. Well, they can leave a message and then I call them back. And I always call people back after 4 o'clock. Because when I'm in the flow of stuff, I'm thinking about things, to be interrupted with the text, a phone call, an email, that stops the effort. That's right. I thought I need to really focus where I can focus on getting the best work done. So after 4 o'clock is when I return calls. They know that I will return the call, and I don't really call them on the weekends. I don't ask them, if I'm working on the weekends, I don't ask them questions on the weekends. Now, I will email them because if they read their email, that's on them. But they don't have to respond. I don't expect a response because back in the day when I first started doing this, there were no cell phones. If you wanted to call somebody, it was a pay phone. So when you left the office at the end of the day on Friday, nothing happened until Monday morning.
That's right. Nobody's home.
I thought, why do we think that having, the cell phone is going to, limit us? So I'm okay with clients having my cell phone number. And I tell them when I talk to them, I said, you have access to me. If something happens, you can text me or phone me 24/7. I probably won't get back to you right away, but I will. So don't ever hesitate to pick up the phone. Now, I don't have my phone. When I go to bed at night, my phone's not in my room. It's sitting in my office. That's another benefit there. I don't have office. I said, I have office hours 24/7. I don't have to answer.
That's right.
That's a benefit that they get. Oh, so my last accountant, I said, there is no one else like me.
So, there you go.
So I decided the ideal client I wanted. And that's people I like to work with that understand my value, that pay me every month, that I enjoy talking with and helping. And I want the same from them. If I pick up the phone and I go, I hate when this guy calls. You're not long for this world. My life is too short and my time is too valuable to be spending it with people that I don't want to spend it with. that I don't
love
feel
that.
I can make a difference for.
I love
So I have no problem in firing clients because you know what? A better one comes along. And I have no problem if they want to transition into somebody else. Because I tell them too in the beginning, I said, the goal is for you to outgrow me, where now you have an accounting department where people come into the office. And now we have an accounting department. I say, what's wonderful about the technology nowadays is I can be your accounting department. We can do payroll and sales tax and all this and the apps. So you'll actually save money because you won't need an accounting department. But if you get big enough, you might want to have one day. That's the goal.
Beautiful.
So are always working together with the clients. And that's what I just love it. And so the other thing I do when I'm talking to clients, prospects, as I go, I only have room for so much. I only have 168 hours in the week. So you have to tell me why you should take one of my slots because I only have about 3 left, because I don't want to work 24/7. Now, I might have 1 left. I might have none left. But because something is limited, people want it. So,
I love that.
There's all these little, I don't know, is that manipulating people? I guess.
I think it's positioning.
Yeah. I want to be known as the best out there, and have no problem. And I work with other accountants in the area. I have no problem sharing my knowledge or if somebody needs help. In fact, I have one of my clients that had been with me 7 years now. He called me from the Pro Advisor site and he asked me a question. And I said, oh, well, this is how you do it. And he goes, oh, gee, thanks. Thanks so much. And I said, well, could you do me a favor? On the Pro Advisor website, if you could just write a review about how I helped you, that helps me. That helps other people find me that I can help. I said, because the next time you call, it's going to cost you. I kind of joked. He goes, okay, no problem. Well, of course he did. Well, I think it was a long time later, he called me up. He had started a new business. He goes, I don't know if you remember me, but you helped me way back when. And you were so nice and so gracious. I needed an accountant. I want to hire you.
Wonderful.
Wow. I mean, that was not the purpose of me being nice.
No, for sure.
I'm just nice to be nice, but it comes back to you. So I never worry about, oh, well, I gave this away or how much am I going to make on this? I mean, I feel the more generous you are, the more will come back to you. So I'm very valuable, watch my time. But I'm also very kind to people. If they need help, I'm happy to help them, and as long as I'm not doing the work for nothing. Yeah, I think you get the idea.
For sure. You love what you do.
I have a accountant in town calling up and they, we're stuck on this QuickBooks. Could you quickly help me out? Sure. What's the issue? Let me do a login and see if I can't. Oh, here, click that. Oh, thank goodness. A lot of times tax preparers will call me because business owner is doing their own books. And they can't figure out how to find the bank rec or, whatever. So they call me and I say, well, let me see if I can't help you. What's the question? Let's do a Zoom call, see what you got. I mean, literally, it takes 5-10 minutes. We're not talking recreating the wheel here. Gee, that was really good. Thanks. So when they get prospects, look, call this girl. She knows what she's doing. Beautiful. So I'm a big believer in anything you send out into the lives of others, come back into your own. And just be generous and be kind. I mean, that's my whole philosophy of running this practice and just get better.
I love it.
You'll make mistakes. You'll do it wrong. And, and the one thing wonderful about being an accountant and a bookkeeper, if you make a mistake, no one died.
That's right. That's
you
right.
can fix it. Just say, oh, sorry, wrong category. I mean, and just fix it. I don't think you win any points by saying how much time you spend at the office. I mean, I want to be with my family. I want to be with my kids. My son just had a baby 2 months ago. He got married. He had a baby and then got married. At least he did it. And I want to see my new granddaughter and spend time with her, spend time with my husband. We have a condo at New Smyrna Beach. We have a condo in Marco Island. I like going down there because of the technology. I can do it anywhere, anytime, any place. So I like to be able to travel and to do what I like to do with my husband and with my family. And so staying here at the office and slaving away, I don't think wins you any points in my book, No. And I think, value your time and charge enough that you can make your bills and do what you want to do. and find clients that you really like working with, that value what you do, and use all the technology out there to make sure that you're maximizing your time. I'm willing to spend money on technology that will save me time. It costs money, but anything that saves you time will cost you money. In fact, that's why we all drive cars. We could walk. Sneakers are cheaper than a car. But we like the speed, we like the convenience, we like the comfort. So we're willing to buy a car instead of walking. So technology to me is like driving a car. Unlike driving a car, though, I'm not stuck with it. If I try technology that doesn't work, that's not working for me anymore, or I really don't like this, or another one's coming along that's better, I will switch. So spend the money on technology. And I did a webinar, and I think that's where Dave met me.
Yep.
About technology. And I added up the technology that I use, just my internal technology for running my part of behind the scenes, is over $1,500 a month, which I think is inexpensive when you look at what other people charge to run their firms. I mean, if I had a dress shop or a steakhouse, I'd pay rent. I'd pay, I'd have it's just me.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
This is the best profession to be in, because the cost to entry is so minor. And, so use those tools out there to maximize your time and to maximize what the customer can get on what you're doing for them. So spend the money on technology. Don't say, well, that costs money. I don't want to spend that, because I think as accountants, we look at the expense side, make more money, charge more. You're not charging enough. That's always my mantra. Charge more. They should pay, anyway.
Well, I love it. I absolutely love it. There's been some absolute gold nuggets here. Debra, I want to thank you. Just love your energy. Love that you found your passion in life and the work that you're doing. It's fantastic.
I love it. I mean, I think this is the best profession to be in.
Oh, it's beautiful. If people wanted to learn more about you or get more from you.
Well, the best place, I have a YouTube channel with my friend Donna Reed called Bookkeepers on Fire. And please like, subscribe, and share that. We talk to bookkeepers about what they're doing. We also have a podcast where we answer accounting questions. So submit your accounting questions, and Donna and I get together and we give our take on it. It's kind of fun. And we keep the podcasts short because I know people don't like hours of podcasting. And our YouTube thing is usually 30 minutes. But that's the best way to reach out, because that's what we do. If they want to, and you find me on Facebook, and I guess it's X. And I don't use X as much anymore as I used to. Instagram, or just, look me up on the Pro Advisor website. I'm going to Scaling New Heights. I go to QuickBooks Connect, but come to our podcast and YouTube channel. That's the best place to find me, and stuff like that. So this has been a real joy. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's been great having you. And with that, we wrap another episode of the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. To learn more about today's wonderful guest and to get access to all sorts of valuable free business building resources, you can go to thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Until next time, goodbye.
You've been listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with Michael Palmer. For more information and to download the resources mentioned in this episode, please visit us at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Thank you for listening.